Hello YouTube, Hoosier Archer here, another late edition of the Sunday Stump. I almost didn't make this video just because I pretty much forgot about it until the last possible minute. So I'm going to keep it fairly short and sweet. We're going to have a little bit of a gear review in this one and a couple of shout outs. Gear review, I've had this Anchor LC130 flashlight for about a year now. And the only bad thing I can say about it is the lanyard gave up. It was just a single strand of some kind of nylon cordage and it just wore through. And I didn't even use it that much. I pretty much just held the flashlight like this. The flashlight has several modes. It has full power, steady stream, and I believe it's half power and quarter power as well. I believe that's what I read when I first got it. It also has strobe and SOS flashing, and all those things make this, to me, a pretty good addition to a bug out bag or go bag. Also, it charges via mini USB, the type you use in an Android cell phone or Android tablet. And since I do have those types of devices, I have those chargers. That's why I also think, and if you have a car charger for an Android phone, I believe that would make this an ideal candidate for a glove compartment flashlight as well. Currently, what I use this for in my own life is an emergency power out flashlight or just a late night check that bump in the night flashlight. And it works very well for those things because the very first thing you hit when you push the button, everything is operated by a click button on the back, but the very first thing you get when you click it is full power, and most of the time that's exactly what you want. So I don't think the lanyard thing was that big a deal, but I'll still say that takes it off of a 5 and gives it maybe a 4.5, because like I say, it's not 4.75, but I would highly recommend it. I have no idea how much it cost, because as I say, I won it in a fundraising raffle last year on YouTube, and so I never bothered to look it up, but I might now, since I like it so much. I might be looking to buy a second one to have some redundancy. Generally speaking, if I like something, I buy a second one. I believe redundancy is a good policy. Just for updates on what's going to happen in the near future, there'll probably be a Thirsty Thursday this week. If we stay this hot and humid, there will not be a foil packet Friday, because I probably won't do any cooking at home this coming week. I will probably pinch my pennies and buy cheap stuff at restaurants that have air conditioning, because it has just been back to summer here. Heat indexes into the near triple digits. Like today, when I walked to work, it was 100. The heat index was 109, I think. Just a very unpleasant walk to work at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Absolutely dripping with sweat by the time I got there. Yeah, sorry. But anyway, if it does cool down, I haven't looked at the long-range forecast, but as far as I know, this trend is going to continue for this week. Even though it's supposed to rain Wednesday, like all day, I don't think it's supposed to cool down. I think it's supposed to be like hot rain, even. So we'll see what happens. Life has been really busy this past week between working and looking for work and applying for jobs online and going to job interviews and helping friends with things and trying to keep up on my physical fitness goals. It was just piled up this week. Last night, sleep wasn't all that great because it stayed hot all night long. It was like 80 all night long. Have a fan blowing on you and you still feel warm is just not the best way to sleep. But, I did sleep. I did get through the day, so no big whoop. On 1 cup of coffee even. So, it's not like I slugged caffeine to push through. I'm pretty good about, doctor wants me to limit myself to no more than 2 cups of coffee a day. I generally drink about 1 cup and not every day. I don't, as much as I'd like to drink coffee every day, the doctor would prefer you don't drink coffee for whatever reason. I don't, big whoop. Caffeine has never been any problem for me. I've never had a racing heart. I've never had the jitters. And I used to drink more coffee than you'd probably believe in the course of a day, and used to go to bed at night and sleep with more caffeine in my system than most people ever experience, probably. So, but, you do what your doctor says if it isn't unreasonable, and I'm, limiting intake of this, that, or the other thing. The hardest, believe it or not, as an Epicurean, the hardest thing to give up was actually organ meats. I'm not supposed to eat organ meats, liver, kidneys, heart, that sort of thing, from any animal. And while I don't like liver per se, I do like different types of liver sausage, bratwurst, liverwurst, a couple of others. Supposed to limit my intake. Speaking of that, I'm also supposed to limit my intake of sausage, and I really, really like. I have never met a sausage that I haven't liked. Not that I've eaten every sausage on the planet, but every sausage I've eaten so far been worth eating. But I limit my sausage intake too. So, like I said, I want to be healthier at 60 than I was at 50. So far, I'm pretty much on target for that. So that's a good thing. The only jokes that I have to end on, one of them is a quick one, and these are just jokes you can tell anybody. These are dad jokes. What color is a hiccup? Purple. I've always liked that one. Now this one's a little bit of a Shaggy Dog short story. That means it's a little bit drawn out story, but 2 ants are walking across a cracker box when suddenly one ant just starts running hell-bent for leather, and the other ant, they're social creatures, so it takes off after its friend, and they get all the way across the cracker box before the second one catches up with the first one, and finally the first one slows down and stops, and they're both sitting there panting. What was the idea of rushing off like that? I said, didn't you see the sign? What sign? The one that said tear across dotted line. Believe it or not, that's one of my favorite jokes, because you can tell that to anybody and it's funny. You'll see the person you tell it to about an hour later just look up and go, tear across dotted line. Trust me, I've seen it with my own. Oh, by the way, in case you don't watch educational television of any way, shape, or form, uh, an antiquated term for eyes is winky peeps. So I've seen it with my own winky peeps. That's kind of a cute way to describe eyes, isn't it? Winky peeps. Winky, 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 peep, peep, peep. Anyway, God bless. Happy trails. And watch your top knot.